in touch with anybody from college.
Yes, can you give me the number?
Good morning, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Wise Mounjaro channel, your place for the information on Mounjaro and my own personal journey. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chris, and I am going through my own huge weight loss journey using Mounjaro, and I'm logging my own journey via what symptoms I'm having, what effects it's having on my body, is it actually working? And so you're going to get to see this in real time as such as to how it's working with me. Now, bearing in mind, Mounjaro might work differently for everyone else. But if you want to get more information, you want to carry on with my journey, make sure that you like and subscribe. Follow me on my journey. See how I get on. See the tears, see the pain, see the upset. There's different elements of today's show that I want to sort of get into. And just to make you aware, if this is your first time visiting, what I tend to do is the middle of the week, I tend to do a midweek update on how I'm getting on, because on Sundays is my weigh day, and it's also when I then have my next jab. For those of you who don't know, I'm currently on a 2.5 milligram dosage of Mounjaro, which is the initial one that they give you just to get used to it, and then to make your mind up as to whether you want to then progress up to the 5 milligram or if you want to stay the same. And that's what I've done, because I want to give it another month just to see what it's like. So in this update, there's a couple of elements I want to go into, but what I want to really go into is a little segment where I'm going to be breaking down 5 different things that have been classed as what we would call non-scale victories. And it's a term that I've borrowed from the lovely Jo. Go see. I've mentioned her. I've given her a shout out in the last video. Go check out her channel. But this idea of non-scale victories. So things that aren't necessarily to do with the numbers on the scale, but really good things that have come up in this week because of the weight loss thanks to Mounjaro. And then to follow on from that, I'm also going to be doing 5 different things that are going to be reminding me about why I still need to carry on doing this. Things that have worried me recently that have kind of given me that little nudge to sort of say, look, you need to keep on with this. You need to keep it up, okay? No slacking. But first of all, I want to just tell you how I've been getting on. So I had my last injection on Sunday. Since then, it's been interesting because if you've watched my last video, we know we've got a lot of things going on with this man over here. He's good. He's okay. He's just on a lot of medication at the moment. It makes him a little bit drunk, should we say, a little bit, woo, baby. So we're kind of observing him, making sure he's getting his medications on the correct time. And, you know, it's about 7 medications we're giving him. So it's a lot to be worrying about. So we haven't had the greatest of weeks. Now, a couple of nights ago, I think we were in a position where we're like, we hadn't got anything out for evening meal. We ended up having the pizza. So I just want to say, you know, these things happen. This reflects nicely to something that My Life's Toil was talking about, where, look, just because you have something you shouldn't have on one day doesn't mean that the diet has ended. And I think that's good to remember, because ultimately this is a marathon, as they say, and we need to be making sure that we're taking any stumbles and then continuing running. You don't want to see me running. It looks like a blobfish trying to bounce. So I had this pizza, but it was only, it was only a medium pizza, okay? Normally I would have gone for XL and I would have polished the lot and I would have been looking for more. So this was a win, even if it was a case of I was having something that maybe I shouldn't have done. But other than that, everything has been okay. It's no symptoms time still. It's nothing. I'm still going to the toilet, okay? I'm also not experiencing any nausea, sickness, headaches, anything like that. Everything's fine. Now, obviously, bear in mind that might not apply to you, so whatever I'm saying could be different for you. You could have all the symptoms and you start having your hair fall out and your brain come out your nose and then your livers come out your anus, whatever. Or remember, the word anus is always good to use in a video. But ultimately, I'm very pleased with this week. Yes, we had the one night where we had the pizza, but ultimately, I'm still here. I still feel like I'm losing. And so, yeah, excellent. I'm going to continue as I am. And that's month 1 done near enough of 2.5 milligrams. So massive achievement there. Right, so we're going to move on to the segment of the 5 non-scale victories that have really come up in the last few days. starting off with the first one, and I've got my nice little list here. I've got things because this is shot. This memory is shot. I'm not as good as it used to be. Can't remember my name. How do I wipe myself? So the first thing I want to mention is number one, whatever that is. Number one, I recently had to go to somewhere to go get the cat's medication. And what I was quite pleased was that I decided, you know what, I'm going to park further away. So it's going to be somewhere where I'm going to have to walk more. Sorry. It's something that I'm aware of that I don't particularly get much activity. I try to do as much as I can. But because I was walking, I started noticing that my shorts were not so tight, kind of having to keep hiking them up. Okay. Granted, it might look like I was kind of playing with myself in the middle of the town, which, you know, don't recommend, especially children about. Market day as well. But as I was walking along, I'm kind of thinking, wow, this didn't used to be the case. They were quite tight. And so I'm now having to keep pulling them up because they were just starting to go down a little bit. And so for me, that's fantastic. That says to me, I mean, I'm not measuring myself. Maybe I should have done, but there isn't enough rope in the world to try and measure me. But other places I know that they measure, and probably that's the best thing to do. But my clothes are my measurement, because at the end of the day, if I feel better in my clothes, then I know that I'm shrinking. And that was a great win for me. So something as simple as that meant the world and gave me a real confidence boost. So fantastic. Number two, I'm going to go back to this pizza. So it was the fact that I had it, and then the next day, instead of it just being like, oh, do you know what, sod it, I've had a pizza now, I might as well have something else. I went straight back into formation and just buried myself back into this diet. I don't even know what to call it. Weight loss journey. Went back to how I normally was, and I didn't feel like I was then still missing out. So again, this goes back to this idea of just because you have a trip doesn't mean that you've lost the race. You know, you still keep running, you still keep going there. And that was pleasing for me, because I did worry about a little bit about it when I had it, because I thought, is this going to make tomorrow a bit tricky? No. And I think Mounjaro has really helped me with that appetite suppression. So fantastic stuff. Number three, this is a chair. That is a cough. This is a chair that has been supplied by work, because I do work from home. And for those of you who are on the plus side, I don't particularly like chairs that have armrests, okay? Because I prefer to have them not, because ultimately I find my middle half is kind of pressing into them and stuff. And unfortunately, this chair came with armrests. And I was like, well, it's been supplied for me. I can't complain. But I did used to sort of my sides, my love handles, kind of pressing, and I'm just realised, sorry, I keep looking over here. It should be over here. My love handles of love, will keep pressing into the sides of these armrests. Brain's gone again. But now I'm putting my hand in, and I can put my hand through plenty of room, which in itself says that my middle section on the sides are shrinking, which is great, because it's that feeling of the armrest going into you, as stupid as it sounds, as simple as it sounds, is that constant reminder of you're big, you're big, you're big. Okay, so a little win, but maybe to other people, but to me, a huge win. And I'm so pleased about that. Number four, because the weather has been so nice, I've been able to put headphones on and go out and do some gardening. If you're wondering why I put headphones on, it's because I have the neighbours from hell who decide that apparently all times of the day is good to shout and scream and everything in the garden. You know, I keep praying for the meteorite to land in their house, but still, alas, God hasn't done me any favours there. Maybe one day. But the fact that I've been out doing gardening, and normally it would be a struggle for me, but I found I was a lot easier with it. It's obviously because of the weight loss, a little bit more mobility, so still being able to do bits and pieces. And it was nice. So the good weather, a bit hot for my liking, to be honest, but still something that was a win for me, because I just thought to myself, now I'm also starting to feel better. So Mounjaro has helped me with that. I'm so pleased. And then number five, and I realise I keep talking about this pizza, but not just the pizza. Recently, it was Easter as well. So because of the kids, we've had Easter eggs and stuff. I did succumb to an Easter egg. Purely because, well, it'd be rude not to. Jesus wouldn't want it. He'd want me to have one. Have an Easter egg. I was just falling through the hole. That was a terrible joke. I apologise. Sorry, Lord. So I ended up having one. And you would think that, being deprived of something like chocolate, granted, even if it was only for like 3 weeks, only for 3 weeks, I would have been like, oh, God, this is amazing. This is amazing. It didn't taste nice. And I'm trying to think about the way to explain it. So I was having it, but it kind of tastes a little like it was more of a texture thing, and it was almost like a bit oily, like almost like coating on the roof of my mouth. And it was still all right. I mean, it was chocolate, but it was still like, I don't know. It was more, and I know that's probably a horrible noise, but that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like what I was expecting. And to be honest, I was amazed because it's only been, what, if you, excuse me, went back a month, I was eating chocolate. I'm doing a very good sex phone like voice. Oh, what are you wearing? And so that was good for me to be able to experience, because along with the pizza, I mean, I had that, and pizza's my favorite. I mean, Christ, wow, pizza is like my main thing. But sorry, Stanley's now going. Meow. He's outside, little boy. Pizza's my main love, and so for me to have that would have been like, oh, this is amazing. And yeah, it was nice, but again, I wasn't bowled over with it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I've been missing this so much. And for me, that's a good thing, because what we have to remember is that Mounjaro is supposed to be teaching us to change our ways, change our habits, because eventually we're going to have to come off Mounjaro. Like myself, I'm going to have to come off at some point. So I want to be in a position where I don't feel like I need these things. And if my brain remembers that, well, last time you had this, you didn't particularly like it, that's going to help me in the long run. Because I don't think I'm ever going to come to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm desperate for a salad. But to be able to think, yeah, I do want some chocolate, but to be honest, last time I had it, I wasn't overly keen. Maybe I'll have something else instead, maybe something a bit more healthy. And that's good. That's a benefit. So absolutely over the moon about that. But where there's always an up, there's a down. So what I want to do is I want to go over the 5 little concerns that I had, little worries regarding my weight, which is kind of going to be reminding me why I'm doing this. And not only that, why I need to continue. Number 1 is tomorrow, unfortunately, not unfortunately for me, but unfortunately, I'm having to attend a funeral. It's for one of my best friends. His father passed away. And so, of course, I want to be there, and I want to sort of show support. But that little voice in the back of your head is still thinking, what's everyone going to think of you when you turn up? Oh, look at the fat lad turn up. Look at, Mr. Blobby in his suit. Okay. And it's not me wanting to turn the funeral to be about me. It's nothing to do with that. I'm more than, okay that the focus is on them, their family, and so on. But if you're overweight, that little voice that's in the back of your head. You're going to think, oh, especially those who haven't seen me for a while or haven't seen me before. Well, look at the size of him, and I want to get to a point where if I'm going to have to go somewhere, not necessarily a funeral, but anywhere else, I want people to be able to say, or think to me the same as everybody else. And that, to be fair, they're probably not thinking anything like that. They probably won't think anything like that, but that's not what my head is saying. So that was the first one. Number 2, following on from this, really, it's for work. At the end of the month, I've got site visits. So I'm going to have to go out and about, meet people. And again, this is going to be the same thing. So this is this idea of, wow, look at the size of this guy who's turned up. And I don't want that anymore. I just want to be able to go and see people and meet people and not have the first thing be in their mind of like my huge presence. You know what I mean? I just want to sort of be able to just be normal, if that makes sense. I don't want to be the huge load that's turning up, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Because I see him. Oh, he's a big lad, isn't he? I don't want to be the big lad. I don't want to be big bloke, fat lad, fat bloke, anything like that. I just want to blend in, and that's all I want. So I still have those concerns about the end of the month, but that's reminded me why I need to carry on. Number 3, mentioned earlier, it's getting hot again. Now, if it's getting hot and you're overweight, it's not particularly good, because anything you do makes you hot, because I'm naturally hot anyways, plus my weight. And so I do a little bit, start sweating, feel like really gross, horrible. It's also then t-shirt season. I'm not a t-shirt wearer because I feel self-conscious in it. So I'm more of a hoodie kind of person. But then if it's too hot to wear hoodies, I don't want to wear them. But then what do I wear? And these are all thoughts that people of a normal size don't have to think about. They're more thinking about what kind of t-shirt or what color or this, that, and the other, as opposed to what can I wear to cover myself up. And that's a perfectly common thing for people who are oversized. It's the idea that you're covering yourself up as opposed to just expressing yourself within the environment. Okay. And that's a concern with me. Now, I'm not expecting to reach weight by next summer, because this is going to take me a long while to get this off. But by next summer, I'm hoping to have lost a good amount of weight where I'm not going to feel so self-conscious. I'm going to feel more comfortable in my skin and be able to go out and do what I want to do without having this constant little niggle in the back of my head. So that's something that's concerning me. I will do my best to get through it. I will still be pleased with the weight I've lost, and I compare it to what I would have felt like had I not started. But I still need a lot of work. Before, only because I forgot to put it in the video, I looked back and I went from number 3 to number 5. Number 4 has been mobility. I'm still not where I need to be. I need to get to a position where I am more flexible. I'm a lot more flexible than I was. But it still needs to be improved. And that's only going to happen with more weight loss. So I just need to work more on that, and remember that that's the aim goal. Because then I'll be able to do things like tasks around the house, hobbies, playing with my children. That's the sort of thing I'll be able to do. Now back to the original video. Number 5, and this goes back to something that Joe talks about, who I've mentioned previously, sleep. My sleep is not good. My sleep has been terrible for a long while. I don't have a problem with getting to sleep. It's staying asleep. Now, I think there's elements of this to do with my medication. I think it's a case of my dreams don't help, because some of the medication I have give me really vivid dreams. And so I feel like I wake up from them, I feel exhausted, then I go back to sleep. But because of issues to do with my arthritis, I have a lot of problems in my shoulders. And I'm a side sleeper, so I'm sleeping on my sides, and so I'm putting all this weight onto my shoulders. So then this shoulder will start hurting. So then I move on to my other side, which is fine, but then that one starts hurting, and I'll wake up in the night in agony and so on. And to be honest with you, I just need to lose the weight, so there's not so much pressure going onto my bones, because I need to be as careful as possible now at preserving what I've got, and the weight is going to really hinder that by just keep causing upset and anger and all that in amongst my joints and so on. So that's something I want to improve on. To have a good night's sleep must be wonderful. I've not had it for ages, and I would really love to. So those are my things that I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for getting to this far. On Sunday, obviously, I'm going to be doing my weighing. Let's see how I do this week. Again, if you are out there and you're doing your own weight journey, I mean, I follow a lot of you guys. You're doing amazing, all of you. If you're thinking about jumping on, then by all means, again, like and subscribe. And if you want to ask me any questions, you've got to leave comments, by all means do so. But in the meantime, I want you to all look after yourself, be careful, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Which ain't a lot. Bye!